Canon brought us out to a press event in Hawaii to review the Canon EOS R, a 30 megapixel full-frame mirrorless camera. Later, we bought our own copy and spent more than a month testing it.
I like the handling of the camera. I like the menu system and everything. It's highly customizable. The build quality seems great. I wouldn't say it's like a high-end pro body autofocusing. It wasn't 100%. I think that's an area that's a big weakness for me, but the overall user experience of the camera feels pleasant.
I echo all of that. To me, the focusing system is that of a previous generation mirrorless camera, like the Sony a7R II or Sony a7 II, or maybe the Fuji X-T3.
With further testing, we discovered that the IAF only works at headshot range. If you shoot any wider, the best you can do is face detect. If you zoom in and out, eye autofocus will work and then stop working. It's frustrating. Face detect alone isn't accurate enough when you're using portrait lenses. It'll focus on the nose or the forehead, so you do have to use a single autofocus point, and then the lack of a thumbstick means it all moves pretty slowly. The Sony a7 III and Fuji X-T3 have much more usable eye detect focusing systems.
I like the FV mode, which is a mode where you can choose what you want to prioritize. If you change your aperture, it becomes aperture priority. If you change your shutter speed, it basically becomes shutter priority, which means if someone's a beginner or doesn't like shooting in manual, they can change what they need to change, and then the camera automatically adjusts everything for them. I think that's a great feature, especially for beginners.
It's like the one mode you need, beginner all the way to pro. I will only ever use FV.
If you're planning to use your Canon EF DSLR lenses, well, they work okay, but we can't recommend it. For the same price, the 5D Mark IV is a much better overall camera, including the focusing. Keep shooting with your existing DSLR, and click subscribe because we just saved you thousands of dollars. Hey, do you actually want to learn photography? Check out our book, Stunning Digital Photography. It's the #1 photography book in the world. You can check out the reviews on Amazon. It's not just a book, it has over 14 hours of video that you can watch. So even if you hate books, you can still learn from it. We brought the EOS R on a separate trip to Los Angeles and we loved using it. For casual family shooters who don't mind dropping $3,400 on a camera, the EOS R with a 24-105 might be the best setup you can get. The image quality soundly beats the popular X-T3, and it looks and feels better than the Sony a7 III. The flip screen produces much better selfies than your smartphone ever could. For grabbing quick HD clips, handheld or on a tripod, nothing focuses as easily as the EOS R. We've already published several videos with a deep analysis of the EOS R's image quality and its use as a video camera. The EOS R image quality is great. The Canon is actually better than the Sony, Nikon, and Fuji alternatives at this price point. However, if you were to jump up to a Sony a7R III or a Nikon D850, the image quality of those cameras would be better. They also cost a lot more. For a detailed look at the image quality, check out this other video. As a video camera, the EOS R is our favorite to use. It will find a face in a scene and just lock into it, even if you move around. It is perfect for vloggers, but it has some serious drawbacks. While it supports 4K, it's heavily cropped, which means you need to change lenses, and then the quality is pretty bad for it too. So it's basically an HD video camera. Technically, it can do slow motion, but the slow motion looks bad and doesn't have any sound. So technically, it's a terrible video camera, but functionally, it's the best we've ever used. As a result, we bought it for using as a video camera, but we only use it when we don't need high technical quality.
Maybe if I use a bigger focusing point. It's not good right now.
What's your setup right now?
Single AF small point, which is what I'd want to use to really focus on the eye.
But what do you have going on with your lens there?
I have the Canon R to EF adapter. I have the 2x teleconverter, the Model 3, and then I have the new 600mm f4. By the way, this lens is so light compared to other ones.
It's a lot going on.
Canon has some of the best wildlife lenses, and the Canon EOS R with the EF adapter is workable for wildlife stills, but we'd rather use the much less expensive Canon 7D Mark II or Nikon D500. For video, however, the Canon EOS R might be the best wildlife camera ever made. The viewfinder means you can hold the camera up to your eye, which makes it much easier to find the subjects than it is using the rear screen on a DSLR.
In 4K, it has that 1.8 times crop, which is usually a pain, but when you want to get closer, it's spectacular, which means I'm getting at like 2,000 millimeters with this setup here, and that's incredibly close. I wish I had a big, heavy tripod to support this thing. It's real windy today, so my footage is shaky, but you can get some sense for how good it really works.
Where do the birds go? I'll try these flowers. I think it's better without the teleconverter.
But would you use it? Or would you pick up your D850 or 5DSR?
Well, actually, give me a minute because all the birds keep flying away. So it's snapping into focus much better without the teleconverter. I still think that I have better options, but this is much easier to use without the teleconverter.
Sports. The EOS R might be the worst camera we've ever used for shooting sports. The continuous focusing system is so slow that it dropped to only about 1.5 frames per second when shooting action. For detailed information, watch this other video. Reviewers, including us, have been quick to point out the objective weaknesses of the Canon EOS R. Limited native lenses, a single card slot, the almost unusable multifunction bar, and poor quality 4K and slow motion video. But the Canon EOS R isn't a camera designed for camera nerds like us. It's an all-purpose family camera for moms and dads. Sure, the A7 III, the A7R III, the X-T3, they all beat it for specs, and most of you camera nerds should just buy one of those. But if you don't know what 4K 60 is or what IBIS stands for and you just want to capture your family memories, buy the Canon EOS R kit. You won't regret it. If you get more serious about photography in the future, Canon will definitely be releasing newer and better cameras. In other words, the Canon EOS R system will grow with you. Don't forget to subscribe to see more camera reviews and of course tutorials teaching you how to get the most out of your camera.